Molly, and my specialization is language and culture. So I plan to go into user research or user design. I hope to go and start there and then go into product management or design strategy. I started as a design interaction specialization, and I think around sophomore year, I think around this time, I felt like I really was annoyed with the feeling that I felt pressured to get a computer science minor. I felt pressured into looking at more the coding relation to design. And frankly, I did not want my whole life, my whole college practice, just for me to just practice. So design one, I think other design classes is just hands-on experience. And I missed the idea of studying and learning about the brain. I felt like I wasn't getting enough of that. So that's why I chose language and culture. And personally, I think language and culture is not the best way to name that specialization. It used to be named human cognition. And even if you look at the bio of it, it says understanding human behavior to apply theories into engineering and design. But what happened was most of the labs that were under that specialization were more language and cultural labs. So I know my specialization is language and culture. I'm still on the design route because I'm minoring in design. I can just break it down. I grew up fascinated with psychology. I'm still fascinated with psychology. But mostly I'm really fascinated with how language influences us. So that's why I'm taking language and linguistics courses that are hence my specialization. And the reason why I chose this route is I believe that if you want to understand a good design, if you want to create a good design, you have to understand the people that are using it. So that goes in hand with the root of them, what is the cultural practices that they have that maybe impacts the way that they think, or impacts what they like and what they don't like, or even that. We have studies that show that language does influence how we process information. So how does your language or how does a linguistic background translate to how you see information or how you see content? And I think that's super vital to understand how do you portray content in a way that helps the user understand what's happening and also makes a better learning curve when a person's taking a new product or looking at a new app. So basically, I'm using the language and culture to understand human behavior and apply that to design theories that go into designing better products. I want to go into more UX design and UX research. I would talk about why my specialization will help. Personally, I really love the research side of design. I love it. I love interviewing people. I love talking to people. I love understanding why do people react this way? Why do people say this stuff? And what's underlying that content or that behavior. And so that is one passion that I love within the design phasing as well as content. So I would talk about, and I would say there's many different ways that you can go into a specialization. And personally, I think the specializations, what's beautiful about them is that you can go into language and culture, you can go into clinical aspect, but that doesn't stop you from taking classes that are in the machine learning specialization or in the design specialization. It's pretty flexible. You just have more of a little bit of a focus in your language and culture specialization. And so with that, I would probably talk about other routes that you can take as well. But personally, I would say I'm using my study of linguistics, sociology, and psychology to help me look at content strategy. For example, I'm in a project where we're looking at what is the best way to make a an app that's supposed to be soothing and very like calming, that helps people de-stress. Or so with that, it would probably look at content. Like, how would you ask people what they did that day? Would you ask them, oh, did you do that thing that you were meaning to do? Or, oh, how are you feeling today? There's a different way that you talk to people based on based on where they are, or what mental state they're in, or an emotional state. And also with different practices, and it's good to know that. But then just in general, you can go into language and culture, and you can go into linguistic studies. You can go into understanding speech production. You can go into grad school. You can go into, you can use that to go into a PhD and understand how we do. Or this is actually fascinating. I know a lot of AI companies, or companies that are looking at AI, that really do need people to understand linguistics. So how can you use that specialization to maybe help you have a more background of maybe machine learning and how we process like words?